Welcome back. We are back on Monday night, April the 27th, 2020. To the right, the sexiest Puerto Rican in the goddamn room. Heck, he is the only freaking Puerto Rican in the damn room. The one, the only DY, Daryl Rivera, is in the house. Stephen Milhausen, the unemployed. Freaking employed. God, I didn't think I'd be saying that anytime soon. Man. Stephen Mielhausen, formerly of SportingNews.com and Zone. And before we get into my my great news of the day, how are you, my friend? That beard is dandy as ever. This still looks like you didn't get a haircut.
No, not a chance.
You got a head on, so you can tell you didn't get a haircut.
The day I do a podcast without a hat on is the day that I got a haircut finally, because I'm showing that bad boy off. As soon as the curls are gone, hat's off, hair's flowing everywhere.
What is with, I did a podcast with a buddy earlier, and I need you to answer this for me. What is with everybody now because of the coronavirus? They're just now lazy and not getting haircuts.
Well, what's the point? We don't have to go out to work. We don't have to, we don't have to go anywhere. We're working. I'm working from home behind a computer where nobody sees me. Now I'm doing this, like the podcast and everything, but I could just throw on a hat. Nobody will notice, except for you, because you've seen my hair and you've seen how messy it gets. So, easy fix, boom, throw a hat on.
See, I used to have that life to where you can just sit behind the computer all day. I remember that. It was kind of fun. No, it's a lot of fun. I'm not even going to say it. But what shirt you got on today?
I got an IMS shirt that I ended up getting
wow, the Illinois Media School, where broadcasting careers begin.
Where mine began.
They're not even doing virtual classes right now.
I know. I saw that T-Lo keeps posting about it. It's awesome.
Oh, I'm not giving him any credit. Let's not go too far here, Daryl. Come on.
I'm not giving credit. I'm just saying he's the only one that's posting anything on Facebook, and I'm looking at
it. But no, you look great though. How was the weekend? How was the coronavirus living been for you? I haven't seen you since last Monday. It's been a long time, man. I've missed you. I've missed you immensely.
Oh yeah, that's right. I got food poisoning on Wednesday, so I couldn't do the show.
And you know what?
It was bad. I ate some.
Before I don't want to cut you, but our highest ratings when you were not on, by the way.
It's because you went on Facebook Live. It's a different animal.
Wow. Hey.
Kidding. No excuses.
Hashtag no excuses.
Hey, yeah, I do remember that. But no, just the weekend went fine. Recovering from that, ended up eating a big ass steak, like literally a New York strip, like homemade, perfect. Put a little butter on top, and it was perfect. Churrasco sauce.
Ooh, nice.
I took a gamble there.
You took a gamble and you rolled aces, baby.
Oh,
you went all in.
Oh yeah,
all in. Not the pay-per-view, but you went all in.
Go all in. Go big or go home.
Now, see, I was telling you this before we came on. I cooked some mean barbecue chicken yesterday. First barbecue of the year. Like for Easter, I cooked steak. I thought we did a little barbecue action yesterday, and if I do not say so myself, Mr. Rivera, came out aces.
Hey, no better food than homemade food.
Oh, that some Spanish rice. Oh, some garbanzo mixed in with garbanzo beans.
Oh, perfect.
Really.
You're making me hungry.
The wife was great, and I did the chicken. She did all the extracurricular stuff, which ended up being really good. So, but no, before we go any further, I want to thank everybody. It's been a heck of a day, and it was a day I wasn't, and I was telling Daryl beforehand, it was a day I didn't even think I was really going to want to make this announcement, and of getting I found this out over 2 weeks ago beforehand. It was a day I didn't even think I was really going to want to make this announcement. And, of getting, it was before I continue, but this wasn't something I planned. It wasn't something I wanted to happen, and I found out a little over 2 weeks ago that I was getting laid off, but it wasn't. I took solace in it was because of not of my work. It's because of what's going on in the world. You can't control everything going on right now with COVID-19. And I'll say it again, I'm very thankful to Sporting News. I'm very thankful to The Zone. Very thankful to a lot of people. You in particular as well, and everyone that's watching, will be watching, has read all my stuff in 5.5 years, and they say the plan is to bring me back. We will see what happens, but I'm extremely grateful for my time there. Extremely grateful that everybody that has, I told you this, God, my phone went off in not even 5 minutes, and it's bing, 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 and I'm like, I'm done. I finally turned that thing on silent, and I like leaving my phone on. Are you a guy that likes leaving the ringer on, or are you a ringer off?
This thing is always on vibrate only. Ringer is never on, ever. When it's on, it actually it's on. I have to double check, make sure that it's my phone, because I never have it on. Because I'm either working or I'm watching something, or I just don't like to basically. You know how you said that you're more of a secret person. I'm the same way, including my phone. I don't like it when it rings loudly because I don't want people knowing that I'm, either getting messages or anything, or the fact that nobody ever texts me, whatever the case may be. I like to leave it on silent because, I don't know, I like to be discreet about everything.
It's just like that is my. It's like my natural state of being. I just don't like. I'm very private. I don't like getting into my personal life too much. I really don't. That's just always kind of really been my nature. And, a decision like this wasn't going to say nothing. I was just going to make people kind of just figure it out and call it a day and, okay, figure it out. And I'll take the messages later. But I decided to do it, and sport's been great. Got to talk to a lot of people. I got a lot of messages I have not responded to. That is on me. I just kind of wanted to. It's been kind of fun. Not kind of, but it has been fucking awesome. Yeah. These last 4 days, it's been great to kind of digest. It's been kind of good. It's really been great to reconnect with my kids, because that's, to me, the most important thing in my life is my children. And I've gotten to spend time with them, build a lot of Legos. Dude, Towers of Doom.
That's something I never got into, Legos. Never really got into it.
God. I gave him, when he got, we weren't going to do Legos with him. And then, right before his first Christmas, I told my wife, I'm like, look, we're doing Legos. I had a whole big thing of Legos. I, bleached them all out. I, went crazy. And then I just went on a rampage and bought just, the Legos now are more sophisticated than they were in, 1985.
When the blocks were this big.
Oh my. He looks at them and he's like, nah, these things are huge. And I'm like, but yeah, we're building towers and houses, and I get to teach him. He's getting ready for preschool. So I got to teach him some stuff. And God, it's like a breath of fresh air. It is so amazing. And, the thing would be, I still miss it. Don't get me wrong. I get that itch, but I'm like, I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna relax, have some fun. We're gonna kill this and get this to the next level to where it needs to get to. But I want to thank everybody. It means a lot. Hopefully, my phone will die down by tomorrow.
And I'm actually glad that you actually announced something, because you got fans out there. You're a big name in the in the combat sports media industry. So yeah, you want to make sure your fans know what's going on. Keep them informed.
No, I got the forces were against me. They wanted me to say something. I was like, no, man, come on. Because I'm not like that. I'm not that ego. And there's plenty of people in the media game. And I respect everyone that, I want to make this clear. I respect everyone that does this. I do. Respect them tremendously. I swear to God. But there's egos out there. I get it. That's how this industry works. You have to have a little bit of an ego. I don't like tuning my horn. I post my stuff I'm proud of. Stuff I don't post, you can figure it out. But, it is a personal thing. I knew I needed to get out there. I'm glad I did it. Not like I sat and thought about it, and I was having a drink before I was talking with my wife, and she's like, "You glad you did it?" And I'm like, I actually kind of am. It was like therapeutic. I was like talking to my mom, and she's like, "Well," she's like, "That was so nice, like what you put at the end." I'm like, "Well, it's true. I'll see you down the road. I don't know where that road's gonna go. I don't. I can't predict it on April 27th. I would like it to be. I know where I want it to be. I want it to be where I was. But if that doesn't happen, then it's not meant to be, and I'm meant to be somewhere else. And that's cool. I'm happy.
Exciting times.
I'm happy. I'm healthy. The most important thing, my 2 children and my wife are healthy. Beyond that, man, everything else is freaking biscuits and gravy.
Yep.
What's not biscuits and gravy is Monday Night Raw. Oh, wow. That shit, I do not understand this crap. When is WWE going to get their heads out of their ass and realize this needs to stop? It needs to stop now. It's the same monotonous nonsense. Everything is basically a squash. And you get that one match that's like 12, 13 minutes. It's getting redundant. And we said this last week. I just feel this redundancy, and it's getting old. It's getting irritating. It's getting to the point to where the ratings are where they are right now. Look at the ratings for Raw last week. A little bit over 1.8 million viewers. SmackDown, barely over 2 million. With all that hype of Triple H. And look at what we got. The show was total crap.
Nope.
Or none. What are your thoughts on this?
On
show going to the Raw?
Oh, the Raw? Oh, it was awful. It's like I said before the show. It was a typical Raw. A few spotlights here and there that were actually, quite entertaining. And then a bunch of crap on top of it. And I get it. They're trying hard and everything, but we keep seeing the same people every week doing the exact same thing. Ricochet and Cedric in a squash tag team match. Bobby Lashley in a match against an NXT up-and-comer that nobody knows who he is. You got the opening segments, as always, where a lot of talking leads into either a tag match or whatever the case may be. And then the ending, the contract signing, I found it entertaining. One of the few spotlights. Other than that, it's just the same talent. It's like they don't have any more talent. That's all they have. But it's with restrictions and everything, they haven't used anybody else. They're focusing on Garza, Andrade, Austin Theory, and then Aleister Black, Mysterio, and Apollo Crews. I get it as the Money in the Bank match, but at the same time, you got other talent. There's a reason you bring in all these wrestlers and everything so you can use them. But some of them are at home, some of them are not being used. I don't know what's going on backstage. I don't have the resources to find out, but it's just the same crap every week.
What did you like about that final segment? I found it hard to watch.
I like the fact that I just like how Drew McIntyre is being portrayed because it's different. It's that one champion that, because typically a contract signing is the heel flips the table on the babyface, beats the hell out of him, grabs the title. I'm gonna win, yada yada. This time we got the opposite. It's new. I like new. New is always better. And the fact that, McIntyre, as soon as Seth was going to talk, I thought he was going to flip the table on him. Turns out, boom, hits him in the head with a table. And then you start seeing deception between Murphy and Rollins, which I kind of look forward to that rivalry when it does happen, if it happens. That's what I like about it.
I'll agree with you about McIntyre because what they've done with him since you really look at it since the Royal Rumble, that's as great of a job as I've seen them do. And he's believable. If hindsight being 2020, you can look at like what they've done with him and what they were trying to do with Roman Reigns. Just think if they would have done that, not force him down everybody's throat, give him that slow burn, and then you put the rocket ship to him, and then you let it ride. And that's what they're doing here. Everything with Drew McIntyre is really clicking right now. He's the highlight of WWE right now. I'm not going to lie. What I've seen of him in the last, you're looking at almost, we're over 3 months now. It's been his show, and he's delivering. He's now becoming a top guy. And he's getting to that point to where, I know people are going to say, oh, it doesn't mean much. These are, there's no fans, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But he carries himself like a superstar. And that's what you're looking for in this day of age. They don't have mega stars. He's got everything he checks off everything on the box to be a top guy. He can be the guy, but it's got to be done right. And right now they're doing a great job with him. And a great foil in Seth Rollins.
Yeah. And every babyface needs that heel. And I think Seth Rollins is the perfect guy who's going to take McIntyre and bring it up through the roof. And it's going to be, because Brock Lesnar already did the job for him. He brought him to that main event level status. Rollins is the guy that's going to keep him there permanently.
Now, the question I have for you is, do you put Kevin Owens in this match, or do you let it be Rollins and McIntyre for the title?
I would put Kevin Owens there, just because you want to make sure it makes sense for Mania. A triple threat makes that WrestleMania match legit. If you don't put Kevin Owens on there, it's just, oh, well, Rollins lost, let's just give him a title shot next. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add legitimacy to the title if you do it that way. I get it, Drew McIntyre is showing that he's a fighting champion, but at the same time, you're giving the opportunities to the people just because they come out and they kick you in the head. That's not a reason for a title match. That's a reason for you to go backstage and kick his ass. Sure. But it's not a title match. And the fact that Kevin Owens has been nowhere to be seen is kind of storyline baffling to me. Because he should be. Like, a triple threat match is kind of the way to go for the pay-per-view after WrestleMania. You see it every year on Backlash. If it's not a rematch for the title, it's like a triple threat with people who think they should have received the title match, like from Mania before. You saw it in the one that I remember right now that I'm thinking about is WrestleMania, after WrestleMania 23. Cena versus Michaels versus Orton versus Edge. 3 guys that, exactly, that's what you want to see. That's a good follow-up to WrestleMania. And the fact that you're putting Rollins, who's arguably the hottest heel right now, versus McIntyre is good, but you had that massive heel lose at Mania. You need a reason to have Kevin Owens in this match. Hands down, just because he won.
I don't fully, just don't understand. And this is like their problem, like the common sense stuff they don't do. Because, and I mean, I've said this before and keep like beating my head about it. Pro wrestling's supposed to be fun. This isn't supposed to be like the where I have to beat my head into the wall and wonder what the hell they're doing. This is all supposed to be fun and games. It's all wrestling supposed to, especially like you look at it, considering especially like what is going on in the world right now. When you need some, and they're going all serious, and people aren't going to remember. It's going to hurt the product more than it's going to help the product at this point. Because now you're at, in terms of numbers, you're at like the hardest of the hardcores. You got to think, no, everyone's at home. No one's doing anything. You're not giving people a reason to sample. You're giving them reasons to leave. The way they're going about this is so wrong. It boggles my mind. There's a bunch of smart people in that company. Don't get me wrong. There's plenty of them. The talent is fantastic. This isn't a knock on the talent. This is knocking creative. And you're letting a 74-year-old man who's got no idea what the hell he's doing at this stage of the game. Let the younger people do your thing. Still be Vince McMahon. say yay or nay, have no control, seize some power a little bit, because all you're doing is costing yourself money at this point. He's making money in spite of himself. It's not a bad deal, but it's hurting the product in long term. This company's in trouble at this point, and you keep putting on shows like this, especially, there's no fans, but there's ways about to be creative. Look at what AEW is doing. Go along that route in some ways, and if you want to copy. I'm fine with that, but just give people a reason to watch. Don't give people a reason to turn the TV off. Because look at what AEW did. Put Dustin Rhodes in a retirement match, and look what happened. People wanted to see it because AEW gave them a reason to watch. If you give people a reason to watch, people will tune in. It's a proven fact in any sport. Give them something they like, and they will go.
Exactly. And AEW also has that tournament, and they're going to keep going this week, I believe, on Wednesday. We're going to talk about that on Wednesday. Yeah, but that's the point. They're giving us something to look forward to. NXT, they did that. Because this week they have Damian Priest versus Keith Lee for the North American title match. And that's actually a match I want to see. Because those two are very talented in the ring. And if they give them enough time, that's going to be an awesome match to watch, regardless of fans or no fans. So that's what they need to do. But when your big announcement for Raw is a contract signing, okay, like it was a good segment. Again, it's one of those, it's a good mid-show segment. If you put it in the middle, have a good match to end the show, great. Like if you would have given Andrade and Apollo Crews, because that match was heading towards a good match, probably the best match Apollo Crews has ever had. If you put that in the main event, give them that edge. Give them that, basically that, I don't even know what the expression is. Give them that incentive. They might have made something out of it because it's something new. People haven't seen Apollo Crews in a situation like that where he has this shot at a U.S. title. He's on a hot streak right now. People would want to see that. I personally would have look to see that in the main event as opposed to the contract signing.
That's where me and you disagree, because I have no problem. You want the title program. That's your main program you got right now. Becky Lynch is not defending the title on Money in the Bank for reasons I don't understand. And I've asked, and I haven't gotten really a good answer. And you're going to go with your main program. You're either going to kick off the show with that, or you're going to end the show with that. And that was, like you said, it was the most hyped thing on the show. I don't got no problem with where they went on that. They could have, the segment wasn't really my cup of tea, but it is what it is. But it just shows once again, it's like, come on, because like you said, Cruz and Andrade were just getting right. They were starting to rock and roll, and then you it's what they do. Like a match like that, you can give some time to. Like, don't go 20 minutes. If you go 12 to 15, and with this type of environment, that's all you really need to go. You don't go 20, don't go 30. 12 to 15 is that sweet spot. Especially when you're interested in, Cruz pins Andrade earlier in the show. You're like, yeah. And then what happened, and then they did what they did and literally cut him off at the leg as Andrade worked on the leg, and Andrade retained the U.S. title. Hey, we know what we did see that was cool, though. The return of the former WWE champion, the modern day, the Maharaja, Jinder Mahal. Not a fan? Not a fan at all?
I like Jinder. He needs to learn a couple more moveset. It's the same thing. He came back, he beat a jobber with the Colossus, and I've seen the story before.
Come on, you're not a fan of the Jinder?
Not the biggest.
Oh God, I can't get Backlash freaking 2017, 2018 out of my mind.
I was actually I hated the fact that they did it that way.
dude, it was. It's
But
one of the,
with Jinder Backlash 2017, I remember that. I hated the decision. But if he would have been booked better, we could have still been seeing Jinder Mahal as a massive heel if they would have done better. But they made him into. First of all, he came back ripped to the point where he could have been a legitimate, like, I'm gonna kick someone's ass, legitimate person, like heel. But they made him a coward. They put too many me's behind him, and they're like, okay, run with it. You kind of ruined him in that program. If you would have done it right, it actually would have worked. But again, it's one of those that WWE just decided to just drop the ball.
I can't get behind Jinder. Jinder just doesn't. Nah. Not my cup of tea. Not at all. I can't get behind. I think he was the worst WWE champion of all time. He was worse than Kevin Nash. At least Nash had some good matches. I can't think of a good match Jinder Mahal had that was like, man, what a great match. Like Kevin Nash could say his first title defense with Brett, 95 Rumble, great match. Mania match with Michaels, really good.
Do you consider the Great Khali a good world champion?
Oh, I forgot about the Great Khali.
That's something we can do. I'm gonna do my homework for Wednesday. Worst WWE.
I like that idea. See, you young bucks, man. No pun intended. Like that. I'm trying to think of what else could happen on the show. I have notes here on my computer. No Jerry the King Lawler. And I love the King. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a big Jerry Lawler fan. Always have. I love Samoa Joe on broadcasting. But Lawler doesn't need to be there. He's 70 years old. There's a global pandemic, man. Be gone. Go.
Especially when that global pandemic is targeting anybody over the age of 60.
Exactly. It's like, now how old are your parents?
My parents are 43 and 38.
Okay. Yeah, because my dad is, oh my God, I am a terribly human being. My dad is 62 and my mom is 61. And my in-laws, my father-in-law is 70 and my mother-in-law is 64. So it's like they came by earlier and I was fine with it because we were social distancing. We were outside. My father-in-law was far away. He's blowing bubbles with my little guy, but they're far away. My little guy doesn't get it. He's 3.5. He doesn't know any better. But where are we even going? He's just totally in a brain cramp. Holy Christ. Oh, Jerry Lawler.
Jerry Lawler.
But you're talking about a guy, and you looked at the Raw last week, he had the mask on, he's on an airplane. That's what are you doing, man? Be at home. They're still paying you. You got the guarantee contract. Stay at home. Stay healthy. And I thought that was smart of WWE to tell him this week, hey, because I was told, they told him because I did ask when I saw Samoa Joe would be there. I did ask. They told him to stay home, which I thought was smart. I thought that was a really good job by WWE saying, hey, you know what? Stay at home. It's 1 week. Well, I see it'll technically be 2 weeks. Then we'll reevaluate because I guess they're taping. I don't know I don't know if they taped tonight live to tape and then they were taping after Raw or they tape. I don't know how they did the taping schedule for today. I know they were taping tonight. They were doing tonight's Raw and then the Raw for next week, but I'm not sure exactly the route they went. That I did not get an answer to. So I at least got a reason about Jerry Lawler. So that was
finally.
That was but no, I thought Joe was good.
I like Joe.
They copied something from AEW.
Joe reminds me of Taz when he first started commentating. A little bit.
How so?
Because if you give Joe, right now, you can kind of tell at some points when he talks. You can kind of tell that there's somebody in his ear telling him what to say. But if you give Joe a live, like, hey, just say whatever you want, I feel like he would be a lot better than what we saw tonight. And he's really good at what we saw tonight. Like, it was something that I'm like, cool, we get Joe. That's actually going to be entertaining. He's a wrestler. He knows exactly what's going on in the matches, and he knows how to portray that to the fans that are watching home. But Taz also did that when he first came up.
Yeah.
When he first came up, they're like, hey, we want you to do a couple matches. Like, just see how you feel. And they let him loose. They didn't tell him exactly what to say. They let him loose, and he described everything perfectly to the point where he became, one of the faces of SmackDown commentary when SmackDown was at his peak.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, okay, Joe gives us that insight into like the match and everything, because they're very similar wrestlers in that aspect, and both the movesets and both mentality and everything. Because Joe's going to kill you, Taz is going to kill you. They were always very similar, and I feel like we're headed towards a new Taz, and I'm actually enjoying seeing it.
New Taz. Huh.
Taz was great in SmackDown too, especially when they had the SmackDown 6.
He had to carry Michael Cole.
When they had the SmackDown 6, that was just had to watch it.
The new people, Daryl. Who was the SmackDown 6? For I know, there are people out there in YouTube land and podcast land that may not know who.
What was SmackDown 6 were?
Yes,
it was the Guerreros, Chavo and Eddie, Ray and Edge, and then I believe it was Kurt Angle and Benoit.
Ding, 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 ding. You win the great. Yes, and Chris Benoit will get mentions on here. Just, I was asked about that when we brought him up. I think when we first started. And I said Chris Benoit will be brought up. I'm not going to shy away from. I don't want us to shy away from controversial names, topics, etc., so on and so forth. What he did was wrong, reprehensible. It's the worst thing you could ever do to your loved ones, but it does not take away of how great he was in the ring. And you gotta, at least to me, I've always been in the view of you gotta differentiate. And this has always been my philosophy when I cover athletes. How I view them professional level and what they do outside of that. Do I condone what he did? Of course not. I got the shakes just thinking about it. But what he did in the ring, he was a savant. He was a pure genius. I don't want to talk about it too much more, but that, just so people are clear on that. But no, Joe is a great commentator. My God, like, you got to think, like, when he hangs it up, I think that that role will be his if he wants it. And that's up to him. Vince will be gone by that point. So I think he's probably going to be more. He won't have to hear someone yelling in his ear the entire time. So, man, I asked Mick Foley. Oh, God, when I talked to him, I think I talked to Mick Foley last year. And I asked him, I'm like, hey, you be honest about it. And he said, dude, it was terrible. He's like, guy, I could have done this for it. He's like, I still could have been doing that. If it wasn't for Vince McMahon. Constantly yelling in my ear like what he compared it to, I forgot, like, I'm gonna paraphrase it. But he said it was like his wife. It's like you're the nagging wife. With constant screaming for 2 hours instead of the constant nagging for about 10 minutes. It's like the constant nagging for like 2 hours. And he said it was terrible. He said never again. But no, Joe was absolutely spectacular. I like, maybe they did this because we were talking about like the comparison between AEW and WWE. And I think that's what they did in a way too. I think that's why they told Lawler to stay home. Because you just see like Jericho is the active wrestler. You can see how fun Chris Jericho's having on Dynamite with Tony Schiavone. I think they brought Joe in too for that reason because Joe was pretty funny tonight.
Yeah.
He was serious, but he was still damn funny. And I thought, as dumb as Tom Phillips and Byron Saxton. Why is Byron Saxton on my TV?
There were times that they would come back from a segment. They would play the music, and you just see him talking, but you don't hear anything because he likes to talk like this a lot. Adds excitement to the segment in his mind because this is exciting.
Fucking, and I hate swearing, but WWE commentating makes me want to swear more than I would prefer. But no,
I can do the swearing for you. I swear more than a sailor, apparently.
Byron Saxton is awful. He is the worst commentator right now in wrestling. How he is not? He is the only him, Phillips, and Graves, the only WWE commentators that have not blocked me on Twitter. So I will give respect to Byron Saxton because I rip him into shreds, and he takes it like a champ. He really does. I'll give him that.
He needs to learn how to learn from it. Just saying,
dude. He's got more than enough time. I'm trying to see what else was good on this one because there really wasn't much. There really wasn't like trying to the triple threat women's match. Thankfully, I didn't need to see Nia Jax hurting Shayna Baszler. I really did not because I think Shayna Baszler would have beat the bejesus out of her. I really, really do. That was the smartest thing done on this show, beyond Samoa Joe.
Shoot style. That should have never happened. That accomplished nothing. It was something that was there. Because we already
for
knew.
People that don't. Go ahead.
We already knew what Shayna bad. Like, she's a badass. She can choke anybody out. We already knew that angle. We knew the angle that Asuka and Nia Jax had going. But you accomplished nothing by doing it, in my opinion. Because you had Baszler attack out of nowhere for God knows what reason. Then Jax comes back in, and I don't know. The whole segment was it was messy. And then she comes out on top, and it's like, anybody could win. I get it. But at the same time, this segment did nothing for me. I would rather seen like a promo between the three and then this than, hey, we're going to get this triple threat and then have it not happen.
Let's see. I like the fact Liv Morgan is still winning. Seems like they're giving Liv Morgan a push. I've seen better matches, but
I saw a tweet.
I'm glad Liv Morgan's getting a little bit of a push, though.
Yeah, I saw a tweet that said she's 7-2 after her return in singles matches.
Look at that stat of the day. Stat of the day.
Yeah,
sponsor for that. Seems like they're going Street Profits and Viking Raiders. I could be down for that cause. That was another thing I didn't like about this show. The countdown of Triple H's best moments. Why? I love Triple H. I think he's great. I don't need to see this. I'm sorry.
It made no sense. We saw it on SmackDown. I don't know why it had to bleed out into Raw.
Now, who would you rather see at this point? Viking Raiders and Street Profits, or Ricochet and Cedric against the Street Profits? Who would you like to see?
Next week?
No, just for the program. Do you go Viking Raiders, Street Profits program, or would you rather see Ricochet and Cedric Alexander?
I'd rather see right now Street Profits versus Viking Raiders. Just because you still need to establish Ricochet and Cedric Alexander as a viable threat to those tag team titles. Until you accomplish that, because you're not going to accomplish that by feeding them their jobbers every week. That's not happening. Unless you start seeing them going up against top tag teams like the Viking Raiders once in a while, or I can't remember the tag team division, like Angel Garza and Austin Theory. You can have them. The tag team division in WWE is like a blur. I can't think of.
There's a reason for that, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
They don't
freaking awful.
They don't promote them as much.
It's not bad now. I can't lie. Street Profits I like them. I've always been a fan of the Viking Raiders. Rowan Hansen are amazing.
Yeah.
And Ricochet, I'm just glad they're giving Ricochet something to do. This guy could be one of your top guys in the company. And you job him out and look him like a complete idiot in less than 3 minutes to Brock Lesnar. You made that poor guy fly The whole day. He wasted 2 days in the air to flying to and back from Saudi Arabia to get his butt handed to him and made it look like a complete idiot.
Yeah.
You kill the guy. If you want to know how to kill a talent, you want to know how to bury them, there you go.
Go watch Crown Jewel this past.
I will not ever want to. Hopefully we see no. You know the good thing about this, and there's nothing good about this global pandemic. I'm not gonna try to say that, but in terms of WWE, looking like no Saudi Arabia shows for 2020 for the remainder of 2020. This is great news.
Somehow they're going to
see no more Bill Goldberg.
Somehow they're going to consolidate that and have 4 shows in 2021.
They're going to add it on like to the back end or some unobliterated nonsense. You wanted to talk about Heath Slater. What did you want to say about in my mind, the real leader of 3MB?
The real leader, he talked, and I saw this morning on Twitter, he talked to Pro Wrestling Sheet in an interview. And they asked him, how do you feel about the release and everything? And he spoke. He basically was burnt out by the time that the company released stuff. And for good reason. He said, it's like, my goodness, I do everything you ask, and like I can't get a bone. And he has a good point. Like, this guy has been in the company for a little over 10 years now. Maybe a little under. I'm not exactly sure on the timeline there. But he jobbed out to legends. I remember that one period that they would have Animal come back. They would have Psycho Sid come back. They had Lita pinning him on a Monday Night Raw after APA just came in and blasted him. They had him job out to the whole I Got Kids. He got over with that. The best thing that came out of that was a tag team with Rhino where they won the titles, which is actually pretty entertaining. But then WWE dropped the ball again.
Gee, what a surprise.
Everything with the tag team titles, with the exception of the New Day and the Usos, they've always created, like, they never had steam with the tag teams.
No.
Ever. The greatest tag team, I remember this in like 04, 05. They had so much potential to make the top tag team in the world, and they just dropped the ball there. And numerous tag teams, and I'm going back a little bit. And yeah, and you just see the tag teams, like WWE never believes in tag teams for some reason. They have the talent, they had the characters to do it, but they never do it. They never pull the trigger. And Heath Slater fell as a victim of that, going back to that, because they fed him to a program where they started it, they loved it, and then once it reached its peak, they just dropped it straight down instead of like slowly declining it.
It's always been a Vince issue. He's never seen the money in tag teams. I don't know why. I think there's money in tag teams. I always thought there has been. He just hasn't, for one reason or another, he's just never, and I get it, you're asking people to get invested, not just in 2 guys, but getting invested in 4 guys. And I can get that can be difficult. I can see, because I asked Bruce Pritchard that a couple of years ago when I talked to him, and it's what he said to me. He's like, that's just his quirk. He can't get past the fact that you got to try to get 4 guys over instead of 2, which is more difficult. If you really, because you look at like fatal 4-ways, and it's hard to get, unless all 4 guys are extremely hot, or 4 girls are extremely hot, it's hard to get them over. I can get the point of view. He's not wrong. So it's hard to get a tag team but look at the Young Bucks. Look at Omega and Paige and Pentagon and Phoenix. If you do it, AEW has shown that you can get tag teams to main event level. WWE just does. I think it's just due to a lack of trying. It's difficult. I can understand the reasoning. I don't agree with it, but I can understand the mindset of the difficulty of trying to get 4 guys over at the same time.
It just blows my mind because they had the Hardys, they had Edge and Christian, they had the Dudleys, they had all 3 of those tag teams in their prime. They had the best, the originator, the TLC matches came out of those 3 guys, and then just how do you not believe in tag teams after that? That's what blows my mind.
If you weren't going to believe in them, he was never going to be convinced. That's, I've always been, it is what it is. And I did I read part of that Heath Slater thing, and Heath's not wrong. I think being on the indies will be the best thing for Heath Slater, regardless if he ends up, whether it's AEW or MLW Impact, I think he would be a great fit in Impact.
I think it would be a great fit in Ring of Honor.
Well, there too. I don't think Heath can go wrong in either situation. And I think that's the route he's going to go. It's going to be one. I wouldn't even be shocked if he also did MLW. Because I think he can thrive there really well too. I think he's going to bounce around. He's going to gain some muscle. He's great on the mic. It's just more getting a little more bulk. If he bulked maybe an extra 5-10 pounds, improved his in-ring work a tad, show, hey, I can go. Show the world. Let's see how good you really are. Because he's got the charisma. The charisma's there. But these days, it's more about your in-ring work than it is. You have to have you got to check every, we talked about it with McIntyre. You got to check every box. He doesn't check every box. He's got the charisma. His body's okay. Because you got to have that look. You got to have the look. You got to talk. You got to give me a reason to go.
Yep.
You got to look the part for me to go. I'm not saying you got to be 6'10", 6'8", 6'9", 300 pounds, 320 pounds. You can be 6'2", 220, but look like you're 220. Don't look like just, hey, I'm 6'2", I'm actually going to be 220. Got to have a little bit of cosmetic is also a big part of the business. It really is. Yep. Good, bad, or indifferent. But I want to see, once everything gets back to somewhat of a normalcy, I want to see how Heath Slater looks. I think it's the one guy that really does intrigue me at this point. Let's talk about The Last Dance really quickly before we switch over to MMA. What'd you think last night? I thought it was amazing. I thought it was spectacular. Michael Jordan still hates Isaiah Thomas. Good. We learned that much. And Dennis Rodman likes the motherfucking party. Like a rock.
The quote that I'm going to remember forever, and my girlfriend saw this and she absolutely died laughing, is when Dennis Rodman was in Vegas. He was already late. Jordan had to go get him. He knocks on the door. He's like, I don't even want to look what was in the bed. I don't want to know. I don't even want to know what's, like, I didn't know. And then literally the next scene is Carmen Electra. I was in his bed. That was me.
And God bless her, 48 years old, looking like that. Wow.
Good for her.
Ooh, God bless you.
Good for her. She's in the same category as J-Lo.
Oh,
still.
No.
No, just saying women over 45 that still look like they could be in their 30s. That's what I meant.
J-Lo to Carmen Electra, it's still J-Lo.
Yeah, all day.
Maybe I think would you get a beating if you said Carmen Electra was better looking than J-Lo? She's Puerto Rican, you're Puerto Rican.
I would get disowned.
I was going to say, it's got to be like a disownment.
Yeah. I would get disowned by my family. My grandpa would call me, like right now. He'll somehow find out. He'll give me a call and he'll start just rambling for the next 3 hours on why I'm wrong.
I would disown you too. I'm not going to lie.
I'm off the show.
You shouldn't even be talking. I'm half Mexican. You're Puerto Rican. We shouldn't even be having a conversation. Luckily, there's a screen. There's a screen dividing us.
Yeah. Just wait until this quarantine's over and we do this live.
Dude. The setup is. My wife had the nerve to try to tell me today she wants to tear part of this office down. Like, get the fuck out of here. That was a bad conversation, man. Oh my God, I wanted to. Like, you can get it because this office, the way I didn't change anything. The way it was when we moved in is the way they had it.
Okay.
This thing's pretty huge, but I got enough. She wants to take like half of it down and all this stuff behind me and I'm front to the side. Man, I'm like, we're gonna fight on that shit.
You're gonna scrap?
Oh, we're gonna scrap. Absolutely 100%. But Karma, man, I couldn't believe I didn't know she was 48. I thought she was older, and I'm looking at her and I'm like, you look younger.
Yeah.
So you got to think 48. We're in 2020. She's only 27-ish. Dating Rodzilla. God bless you, Dennis Rodman. Life is not fair, man. No. I love my wife. God damn, she's great, very beautiful woman, but she don't look like Carmen Electra.
You better pray to God she doesn't look at this podcast tomorrow.
Sleeping like a baby. Sleeping like a baby. All my family is sleeping. That means I get to come down and play. Not play, but I get to come down and do this stuff. But no, she won't listen 50 minutes. Good God, no. Get out of here. but no, the episode was good. I liked when they showed the rise of beating the Pistons and then once again showing how big of babies the Detroit Pistons were, and then Jordan just not believing like anything coming out of Isaiah Thomas's mouth. I thought that was great.
Yeah. The entire documentary so far has been like, if I could give it 11 stars, I would. It's just so great. And for somebody like my age, where when this was happening, I was 3 years old.
Yeah.
Like, and I wasn't even alive for the Pistons series, like rivalry. I wasn't alive for that. And
so intense.
Yeah, and I know it because by way of like word of mouth from my dad. My dad's the one that got me into basketball, made me a Bulls fan because he was a huge Bulls fan back in the day. And he's the one telling me the story. I'm like, man, I wish I was alive to see that. And this documentary is actually like, wow, this was intense. Yeah. And I didn't know it was as heated as it got, like the shove by Rodman. Did you hear the story that apparently Pip, like he had to apologize to Pippen?
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah,
which was great.
It's God. That was like my teen. God, I feel like I'm living my teenage years all over again. God, they first won the title. I was 10. God, I'm old. Shoot. but you look at just like everything. I got to see. Like when they showed the 89 conference finals, I remember being at I should have brought it out. I got it upstairs. The ticket stub I was at that game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals. My dad's work, still to this day, they do stuff with the Bulls. They do all their condiments and all this stuff. And but yeah, I was at that game. I don't remember. I was seeing the highlights. I'm like, crap. I'm like, I remember I was there. Like I found a ticket and I showed it to my wife. She came over like, I got the ticket. She's like, wait, what? Like Last Dance Game 3? And she's like, I didn't watch. She had to work, so I gave her she had an excuse, but I'm like, but it was like reliving like stuff like that. And I remember like when they finally broke through and beat them. I was in Wisconsin on my fishing trip. I always going with my 2 cousins and my uncle and my dad. And I remember I was like, they just walked by and I'm like, and I remember my dad always taught me, you shake your opponent's hand, win, lose, or draw.
Yep.
Doesn't matter. That shows good sportsmanship. You got to handle the losing as good as you handle the winning. And that just always stuck out to me. And they didn't do that. And I'm like, I don't remember what I said, but I remember like we had that conversation. I always was raised on being a good sport, regardless. And it was like that just stuck out to me so bad. And like you said, the episodes have been great. I'm looking forward to this coming week. Horace Grant's getting thrown under the bus. The diva, the nerve of Horace Grant to think he could win without Michael Jordan. And it was proven that Horace Grant could not do that. And he got paid though. I'll give Horace Grant that.
Good for him though.
He got paid. I can never begrudge an athlete to get paid. But I also can begrudge you for being stupid and not staying on the team. What was wrong with you? They essentially, and if you really think about it, they traded Horace Grant, even though he went and signed with Orlando. And the Bulls got Dennis Rodman. Dang, we got the better end of that deal.
Oh yeah. And
Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, something I want to touch on. As somebody that grew up with the NBA today, this whole documentary is making me hate what the NBA is now. Because
why is that?
Superstars nowadays would have played at that time, we would have been seeing a whole lot of new. Like, I don't think it would have been the same product that it is now. Like, now, the last quarter is not as exciting because it's a bunch of fouls, free throws, timeouts. It lags. Like, a 12-minute fourth quarter turns into like an hour and a half, and it takes forever. Back then, you get fouled, and that's like you can get taken down to the ground like Jordan was. Jordan was getting his ass kicked.
Oh my God. That doesn't survive now. Oh my God. That's blasphemy. You would have had guys would have had flagrant fouls within the first like 2 minutes of the game. I love the game the way it was played then. That's how basketball should be played.
Yeah.
Dude, Jordan would have averaged like 45 a game. I'm so convinced of that.
He was such a natural scorer. It wasn't even funny. And this is where like the whole greatest of all time talk comes into play. Why it's so tricky because not even close. It's Jordan. Anybody could say that. Yeah. But everybody says like, well, LeBron's strong. LeBron's quick. LeBron has the refs to thank for all the stuff that he's accomplishing now. Because LeBron, you could look at him the bad way, like in a bad way. You could just be like, and it's a foul somehow. Because refs, anytime you foul him like by accident, you could high-five the man after a three-point. If you look at him the wrong way, that's going to be called a flagrant foul because they're going to think that you had something against LeBron. Hands down. It's like, hey, high five, boom, flagrant. It's over.
You're not wrong. No, you're not wrong on that at all. And the transition, talk about the GOAT, Michael Jordan talk about the real Michael Jordan. Let's talk about the Michael Jordan of mixed martial arts. I wasn't even going to bring this topic up, but it really nugged at me today, and I ended up having like a very short exchange with him via text message, and that is former UFC light heavyweight and heavyweight champion Daniel Cormier. I want to pull up the article because I want to do it justice here. Maybe 1 second. I should have. Wait. So one thing I don't like about websites, it's like you try to click on something and then it like.
I have it here if you want me to read it.
Yeah, go ahead.
So basically, Daniel Cormier's, they were talking, he was in an interview with MMA Junkie with George and Goes or Ghazi. I don't know how to say it.
George and Goes, baby. Those are the podcast fathers of combat sports. Great guys.
Got to meet them. And then, so they were interviewing, and they asked them, who's the Michael Jordan of MMA? To which Daniel Cormier replied, Michael Jordan has long been the undisputed greatest of all time in basketball. But I don't think we have that in mixed martial arts, he suggested. But I think when you start thinking about a guy who just personified a champion, a guy that just ran the table and did everything he was supposed to do, the right way, I guess I would say, and he went on to say it was Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson.
When you read that, do you agree or do you disagree with Daniel Cormier?
That there's a Michael Jordan in the MMA?
There's no Michael Jordan of mixed martial arts.
I agree in some way because Michael Jordan put basketball more on the map than it was before. Like you could say Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, like made basketball what it is now. I say Thomas too. You can throw him on that hat. But Michael Jordan made that game worldwide. He made the common fan watch. I don't think MMA has that one superstar that took UFC to the next level like what it is now. I think it was a collection of fighters, superstars that made it what it is today. Like all the different personalities. That's why I don't think there's a Michael Jordan. Do I think there's a lot of Magic Johnsons, Larry Birds, Scottie Pippens, like really good, get my attention fighters? Sure. But I don't think there's that one guy that you could say he's the greatest of all time. If I had to pick one, it wouldn't be Mighty Mouse now. So I disagree with him on that.
I see your point on, there were guys who laid the foundation to get to UFC to where it's at. Ken Shamrock, Royce Gracie. Then you look at the Zuffa era. It started with Tito Ortiz. Shamrock again. Ken Shamrock, it doesn't get enough credit for what he did to help the UFC get to the dance. Shamrock's a big part of that. Chuck Liddell, Randy Couture. And then you moved into that era, Matt Hughes. You move into that era of Brock Lesnar, George St. Pierre, Anderson Silva. And then it transitioned into Conor McGregor, Ronda Rousey. Now it's Conor McGregor. And then you have Khabib and John Jones. And that's kind of really, talking about legit attractions. And guys that are on top. Amanda Nunes. I don't want to discredit Amanda for everything, all the great things she's doing. Now, you could make the case it's McGregor. But the reason you can't say McGregor is because he's never defended a title. He's never made an actual title defense. And I can get, if people make that argument, they're not wrong. And I'll say it, I'm on their train. But, and this is where I had the issue. And this is where I heard from the former champ. I blame it on those primary reason why there's not is because of the UFC, because of Bellator, because promotions like that, because the fighter's got to fight, but you have to have promotional muscle, like how the NBA promoted Michael Jordan. They knew Michael Jordan was going to be great. They had, like you said, they had Bird, they had Magic. Dr. J was right at the tail end of his career. So the baton was already passed. They were giving the baton to the young buck from North Carolina, rose up, and within 2 years was the best player in basketball. It had already superseded, in terms of popularity, Magic and Larry. But that was due to the promotional muscle. He had the skill, but he needed that little extra oomph, and he got that from the NBA. I've always been bagging the UFC for not putting enough promotional muscle. They did it with Ronda. They did it with Conor. But they did it themselves. Then the UFC realized, oh shit, we need to get on the train and get moving. But they've never fully invested in like John Jones. They never fully invested. And DC brought up Demetrius. And I said this, I'm like, I agree with you about Demetrius Johnson. But the UFC screwed that up. You had a guy you could have catered to a different market. Market him as the greatest of all time. Get him on every show humanly manageable. Get him on all the sports centers. Get him on all the shows on Fox. Get him on Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Conan O'Brien. Every platform, every area you can get to, put him on. They didn't do that. He did his job. The UFC failed to do theirs. The same thing in the situation with John Jones. Yeah, John's created a lot of that himself. But the UFC could have, he got the Nike deal. But that was due to John's management. That was more the management team and John than the UFC putting their marketing muscle. Yeah, they put him in the right situation. He succeeded, but they didn't pump him to the moon. John Jones could have been an ultra mega star. Yeah, some of that had to do with his discretions outside of the octagon. But he could have gotten some help to get there, and they failed to do that. It just seems like, and same thing with WWE. The goal is to make the brand bigger, not an individual. And that's a problem. Because the individual, look at what Hulk Hogan did for WWE. Look at what Dwayne Johnson did, Steve Austin in wrestling. You look at MMA. Look at what Conor McGregor and Ronda Rousey did. My God. Look what it started with Brock. They became a pay-per-view juggernaut because of Brock Lesnar. And then it went on with George St. Pierre. And then it came to usher in the McGregor and Rousey era. And they broke all the records. So it's the same thing. They don't let. I hear more about Dana White than I do about the great fighters like Henry Cejudo should be everywhere. Why do I not see Henry Cejudo everywhere? Why do I not see Israel Adesanya everywhere? Why? Why do I not see Amanda Nunes everywhere?
Khabib.
Khabib's a megastar. But that was on his own. That had nothing to do with them. That was him and his personality. They have failed all these people. Instead of being sold for $4.6 billion, $4.3 billion, they have been sold for $6 billion. They wouldn't be in. That's a whole other conversation. I'm not going to get into that. But because I can, but I'm not going to today.
We'll save that for another show.
I promised myself I'd be nicer. Now that I'm unemployed. But at the end of the day, they're to blame. The fighters are doing their job. It's the UFC that's not doing theirs. And yeah, ESPN helps. It's helped the sport. And again, I can say the same thing about Bellator. I can say the same thing about One Championship. But there's no Michael Jordan of MMA because of the UFC. There's great, talented fighters out there. Guys, I think if you're going to say who can be the next Michael Jordan, if there can be one of MMA, it's Israel Adesanya. All day.
I was just thinking that.
Bar none. He can be pound for pound the best fighter in the world today. He can run the gamut. He could end his career undefeated. He's young enough. He could talk. He's great English. He knows how to sell himself. He knows what to do.
He has the popularity behind him.
But can the UFC get out of their own way and promote him the way he should be? I'm not convinced that they can.
I agree. It's like you said, it's just they had all this talent. They wasted the years of George St. Pierre. They wasted away Randy Couture. Randy Couture went on to be a Hollywood star. He's been in movies ever since he retired. He's doing well for himself, and that's a trend. UFC, you can make your money, but you're gonna have to make it yourself. We'll give you the fight money, but if you want that promotional, dollar, better get a good agent. Better get a good money management team, because they're not gonna do anything to promote that talent. And you have somebody like Khabib who's a killer. You can promote Khabib anywhere, and you can make Khabib a household name. And he's popular despite of the UFC, in spite of that. And the same thing you can say about Adesanya. He's popular in spite of the UFC, because on Twitter, he's a great follower. Constantly taking jabs at fighters. He's doing interviews left and right, and he's doing the right things to get himself over. It's and I always bring it to wrestling terms. You gotta get yourself over in order to make money. Kevin Nash said it best. And the fighters that do end up getting over, UFC doesn't do anything about it. They can make more money than they already do if they just decide to put more effort on those fighters. Imagine the money they would have made off George St. Pierre, off promotions alone.
They did. They did him right. But that was a lot of him.
Yeah.
They did put him in good positions. They did get him on certain stuff, but it's more often than not in spite of their inadequacy. that these guys and girls, because I don't want to exclude Ronda from this.
Amanda Nunes should be strapped to a rocket and just.
Dana White says, "Oh, she's the GOAT. She is the quote. She is the greatest women's fighter of all time, bar none.
Fighting wise, I agree, but
through everybody. But she's treated like a secondhand citizen. To me, that is unfortunate. I want to finish off with this UFC stuff here because I want to talk about. We didn't get a chance to talk Friday. They're gonna turn out shows like no one's business. March. I wish it was March. May 9th, UFC 249. May the 14th. No, May the 13th, and then May the 16th, all in Jacksonville, Florida. Like it or not, we're getting fights. Then they have a show May 23rd. What I do know is the May 13th headliner will be Anthony Smith and Glover Teixeira. It was originally scheduled for last Saturday in Smith's hometown of Omaha, Nebraska. And then the 16th will be headlined by Walt Harris against Alistair Overeem. That was supposed to headline the April 11th show that was scheduled to be in Portland. I'm not a fan of any of this. This is going to one of the worst commissions in the country. I get, and you look at UFC 249, it's a great card. I'm not going to sit here and try to lie to anybody. Ferguson, Gaethje is awesome. Cejudo, Cruz. I love just watching Henry Cejudo fight. I don't think Dominic Cruz deserves a title shot. I get what they're doing. Still not a fan. You got Cerrone. You got Rosenstruck and Ngannou. That's going to be if that fight makes it out of the first round, I will be very surprised. And then you got the prelims headlined by Donald Cerrone and Anthony Pettis. When you hear, and no one knows where the May 23rd card is going to be. I have asked if it's going to be in Jacksonville, Florida. I have not even gotten a response. So I don't know. I think they're going to be stuck in Florida. Because, in all honesty, I don't see this Fight Island thing happening. Because you went from Uncle Dana. This card, the Fight Island was going to be ready April 25th. Then it was going to be ready in May. Now it's going to be ready in June. I keep getting told there's a Fight Island. I keep getting told by the UFC, stop saying that there isn't. I'm like, send me pictures. Let me see some construction. I want to. And they always laugh. I get an LOL every time I say it. It's quite funny. But
just LOL. That's it.
It's I'm not gonna go that route. I'm still a media member. It's a bad idea. You're going to one of the worst run commissions in the country. You're going to a state right now where people are in beaches and they're acting a fool. The governor's a complete Ron DeSantis is a complete moron. Him and Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia, can run for Idiot of the Year. Most disgraceful human being of the year. And I don't think anyone can supplant Donald Trump. But these two guys are giving him a run for his money. Yeah, this is all types of bad. And we'll get more into this on Wednesday. But I kind of wanted, because I want to get more into Wednesday. If it's good, bad, and different, but just you're looking at 4 cards in 14 days. When you hear 4 cards in 14 days, what do you think?
I think overexposure. Just because you try to ease in the fact that you're coming back. Baseball's trying to ease in coming back. I saw rumors of what their plan is. It's a lot of easing in. NBA is trying to ease in. WWE never stopped. We're not even talking about them. NFL has plans in place. Like the virtual draft was fine. Like it was the most watched draft ever.
Too much Roger Goodell. It's my only knock.
And I'm just gonna say this on the air. Me and my brother were making fun of him because he looked high as shit.
Oh my god, that second
entire time.
I thought that second night. I'm like, Man, you must have had some good reefer, man, because you look higher than a kite.
By the time
rug tested. Where's USADA where's USADA?
Dude, by the time the third round was going, he couldn't stand up. He was like
like he had a bong in the right hand.
Him and the producer were just going. They were
smoking it together. They're you can't convince me otherwise.
No, they hotboxed that basement before they even started shooting.
Hotbox, I like
it. It was insane.
Good
but
work.
It's just overexposure. When you want to make sure you bring the product back. Okay, yeah. We beat that into the ground by saying it wasn't the right thing. Obviously, Dana's going to go the other way. He's going to push it regardless. Do we agree or disagree? It's going to happen. But at least make it to the point where we're going to have an event May 9th. Okay. Fine. You want to have it your way, it is what it is.
Bad idea.
It's a bad idea, but don't have one 4 days right after. Because we don't know what May 9th is going to look like. We don't know if this is going to be something that blows up in your face, or if it's going to be, you know what, it ended up being better than we thought it was going to be. Then we can start promoting other events. But the fact that you decided to double down and go 9th, 13th, 16th, and 23rd, 4 events in 14 days. You want to give the fans something? Okay, but that's too much.
Yeah.
You're going to use 4 days worth of ambulances and potential, hey, someone gets hurt, we're going to have to take a room in a hospital to help them. That's 4 days of that. That's a little too much in 2 weeks. That's too much. And then you're going to end up, and I lost my train of thought for 2 seconds. But 14 days, 4 events in 14 days, it's just too much.
No, it's over. It's oversaturation.
Like the May 9th card itself. If you would have had that and then have one in May 23rd, okay, fine. Because you're giving us a card on May 9th that, regardless of how I feel whether the event should take place or not, it's a stacked card.
Yeah.
So Judo and Cruz alone is something I would pay to watch, which I'm not paying to watch this, by the way. That's a different thing, and I don't know if you want to get into that.
We'll get into that on Wednesday. That's something that we definitely I got in some bad conversations with a lot of I got a bad conversation. I don't want to say bad. Bad for them. But some very online conversations that didn't go well, and texting conversations and email conversations that didn't go very well on that topic. We'll get more into that on Wednesday, but it's a bad idea. And you can't, the problems I have, Dana White won't commit to COVID-19 testing. I give Kevin Aioli of Yahoo Sports and Brad Okamoto of ESPN. I give them a ton of credit because they asked, they pounded it. Then he's going on his media tirade, won't commit to it. The media and the people don't need to know nothing. This has got nothing to do with the media. Fans legit want to know if fighters are going to be safe. Are you going to be testing them more than once? You're going to test them at all. It's okay to check your temperature and everything else, but I'm not a fan of taking tests away from the American people who truly need them. Fighters don't need them. You can't convince me otherwise. Unless there are enough tests in this country. And I know there's not. You know there's not. The world knows there's not. I do not. There shouldn't be. And there's a reason why, Daryl, we're not seeing the NBA and the NHL and in Major League Baseball. There's reasons because they don't have the answers. They know there's not enough available tests, and you got a 50-year-old man running rogue in law who's based out of Las Vegas trying to build an alleged island and everything else in between. And trying to put on 4 shows in 14 days and 3 shows in a week. Common sense isn't being used here. We know they're doing it because of the money. It's anyone with half a brain would understand it. This is a pure money play. This has got nothing to do with the fighters. You could pay the fighters. I don't want to hear it. They can. They're not. They barely paid the London fighters. They paid them 20 grand each. Get the hell out of here. For a company that just gave away a $300 million dividend. Get the heck out of here. And we'll get more into this on Wednesday. But I'll leave this note with this, and then we'll get into Floyd Mayweather very quick. They're playing Russian roulette here. And they better pray to God. Pray to the gods that no one tests positive out of the fighters, the broadcast team, the production team, the ESPN team. They better pray to God. Because if something happens, then you're looking at a totally different ball of wax. Because UFC is bigger than WWE in terms of sports perception, and it is. It definitely is. The shit will hit the fan. The UFC will be in a lot of trouble. ESPN will be in a lot of trouble. And Disney will be in a lot of trouble. But let's end on a good note. And I never thought I would say end with a good note and talk about Floyd Mayweather. Floyd released a video. Really hadn't said too much about the passing of the mother of 3 of his 4 children, Josie Harris, and the passing of his uncle, the great trainer, Roger Mayweather. I thought they were a very emotional, a very contrite Floyd Mayweather, talking about her, talking about his uncle, wanting to help, bigger things in the world, talking about COVID-19, how he wants to help people. I hadn't seen that type of Floyd Mayweather in a very long time. And that is a Floyd Mayweather I wish we would see more of.
Yeah, and the video was impactful because most people know the details of the death of the mother of his 3 children. They know the details of the passing of his uncle, Roger Mayweather, one of the greatest trainers in boxing history. And it was just one of those videos that I had to see it 3 times. I saw it 3 times after you sent it to me because it was impactful. It made me think because I was one of those people that hated Floyd Mayweather. I always thought of his career as nobody maneuvered himself around great fights like Mayweather. Nobody.
You don't say.
And this is something that I never thought I would say. This made me a fan of Floyd Mayweather, the person, because he showed that he genuinely cared. He showed that he's you know what, I don't care about, and whether or not it's true, it's the fact that he sent the message this made the boxing community and myself made me want to help out. Made me want to be wow, I want to know what he's doing. How can I help too? Obviously, I don't have the resources that he does, but it's a message that brings a community, a boxing community together, because it's a strong message and it's something that you see it from somebody that's struggling with obviously grief of those 2 passings in his life, because they were fairly close to each other. And that's something that's that can change a man. And it makes you see you know what, he may have been this person before, but maybe he's a changed man now. Maybe he's this good guy. He's going to help out. He's going to do his best. He's going to use his resources greatly. He's going to help the sport of boxing. He's going to help the world become a better place, like you said. And it was something that it's a message that you like to see, especially in times like these.
I know he's been having a really tough time talking to some people around him and people in Mayweather promotions. That he's been having a very, very, very difficult time. And hadn't said anything. And I didn't blame him. it's a private thing, and he doesn't owe anyone anything. No one owes anyone anything. I was when my decision to what I did today, and I can on a very much smaller scale, and I gave him a lot of credit because, and like you said, you could say what you want about his boxing career. The best like it or not, the best boxer of this generation. May not like the way you went about it, but damn, he was fucking good doing it. Okay. Outside the ring, total scumbag. Undeniable. You don't hit women. Sorry, but what he did today, or the video that was released today, I watched that a few times too, and it was very impactful. You could tell he was sincere, he was contrite, because I know what's bothering him. And he does do a lot. He donates, it's not just money, he donates his time. He helps out in like soup kitchens in Las Vegas. He helps during the holidays. I know he goes and he doesn't let any of this be known. This is just talking to people around him and people that know him. And he goes and helps out at soup kitchens and feeds the homeless. And he does donate money to different charities and so on and so forth, and donates money to like food depositories out in Las Vegas and in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where he was born. But he's that guy, and people may not believe it, and it took me a while to believe it too, but he's that guy that he's that rare celebrity that, yeah, he flaunts his money. I think it makes him feel the insecurity he has about himself. So we all got insecurities. We all have them in different ways. And no one's told me this, but I've been just studying him in the last 10 years like I have. I think he's insecure, and this is the way of showing himself, hey, I came from nothing, and now I have all of this. It's that, and it's a fuck you to everyone that's not been a fan of the way he's handled his professional boxing career. But he doesn't like it known like stuff he does for charity. And I can respect it. He doesn't want the notoriety for that. He just wants to go do it because he knows it's the right thing to do. And I commend him here. Hopefully he lives up to his word. I really hope he does in this situation, because he can do a lot of good for the world. You see athletes donating money, and hopefully he does that, because I think that would be, he may not be knowing, we may not know, but I think what Floyd Mayweather did, I thought was fantastic. And it was a short video. It was like not even 2 minutes. It was like
a 96 seconds around there.
Look at you timing it out. It took him that long to sucker punch Victor Ortiz. I had to get it.
God, that was the most frustrating fight to watch.
Oh, absolutely, 110%. But we will end on a good note, because I think that I wanted to end with Floyd, because I thought what Floyd did was absolutely fantastic. Thank you to everyone who watched. Thank you to everyone who will listen. The audio will be up with this tomorrow. I have plenty of time now. I don't have a job, Daryl, if you didn't know. So the audio will be up tomorrow morning. I will record it, upload it, and it will be up on iTunes. Stitcher is still banned in my life. And no, Daryl, not your shoes.
I finally found out what that is, by the way. Did my homework.
Only took you a couple weeks.
Yeah, staying away from it.
You can find the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and all your favorite podcasting platforms. Just search The Walkway to Fight Club. Subscribe to our page. We've got a ton of new subscribers. Got a decent amount of subscribers today. So thank you to everyone who parlayed my bad news into liking the subscribing to the YouTube page. So definitely do that. Also, got a ton, like the Facebook page, facebook.com/The Walkway to Fight Club. We got a good spike just today. So let's keep that train going. I want to get to 1,000. My goal within the next 3 weeks is to get to 1,000. We're at 936 as of 90 minutes ago. No, as of 2 hours ago. I take that back. It is because it's now Tuesday as I'm looking at my time here. So let's get to 1,000 within the next 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. That is my goal. Twitter @Walkway Fight. We're gonna start pumping it. We're gonna pump it hard. we're going to be on. We're going to be active there. I'm going to give you the login to go rock and roll. We'll get on there and we'll talk about Raw and SmackDown, UFC, boxing, you name it. We'll be doing that. I'm not you said you're doing the gram. I'm not touching the gram. And not the gram of cocaine.
I just needed the okay, and I'm doing the gram.
You can do the gram. That is, it's all you. I'm not a Instagram wizard yet. But you can find me on Twitter at smuehlhausen, JR. That's MUEHLHAUSEN, JR. My Twitter, my Instagram, smuehlhausen, MMA. Daryl, where can the fans find you?
My Twitter is right next to my name at DYBoricua21. Always make Steve dance. Every time I say that, it's awesome.
In a dancing mood today, man. I got just happy, man. I'm living life now.
You gotta be happy. You gotta be happy, man.
I don't have a deadline.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. But yeah, DY Boricua, same thing on Instagram, and then walkway. I'll try to keep it the same. Fight. Yeah, at Walkway Fight on Instagram, same way on the gram. Start following us there. Gonna publish that. Gonna hit that hard. We're gonna get that going.
I'm gonna pump out. I'm gonna release some interviews this week. We're gonna put on the YouTube page. We're gonna put up an interview that I did with Alexa Bliss and also Lacey Evans this week. Lacey Evans will be audio and video. I'll figure out. We didn't do a live video interview, but I'm gonna get it uploaded to video and we'll air the audio with a picture of Lacey Evans. She said some really interesting stuff about the military makeover show she's doing with Montel Williams. We talk about the releases, and I thought what she said about the releases, I thought was very interesting in a good way. I wasn't expecting talent to talk about it, but WWE didn't care, and I'm like, hey, I just went and did it, and they loved the interview, and we went along our merry way. But we'll pump those out later this week. We'll be on Wednesday. We're going to be on at 10 o'clock. We're going to talk AEW. We're going to talk about AEW Dynamite. We're going to talk about NXT. We'll get more into UFC 249 as I want to get into, should it be on pay-per-view? Gotten plenty of fights with people in the MMA industry, media, fighters, people in the UFC. So I want to talk about that because it's a very intriguing conversation. I want to talk about that and whatever exciting comes up within the next 48 hours or so. For the sexiest Puerto Rican alive, D.Y. Daryl Rivera, I am Steven Mielhausen. There's no fights, but you will see us on Wednesday night.